Elaine Fusco, State Attorney's Office.
Letitia Fowler, the Office of Public Defender.
All right, good morning. Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Good. Can you tell me your name?
Yeah, Matthew Cooperstein.
Okay, Mr. Cooperstein, and you are?
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm Helen Bernstoff with Mental Health Diversion, Mental Health Pretrial Release.
Okay, and I did see that you put Mr. Cooperstein on the docket, and he does qualify for mental health pretrial release?
Yes, you're correct, Your Honor. He meets both the administrative and the clinical criteria for mental health pretrial release, and the purpose of me being here this morning is to ask for an order for mental health pretrial release.
Sure, and any objection from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so I'm not sure what kind of order we do, if it's not at initial appearance. I know that we've done them before, but they just usually give me a piece of paper and I sign it.
That's correct, Your Honor. Usually what is done is, in lieu of bond, it's mental health pretrial release.
Right.
With a no return, and it comes usually from the clerk.
Well, and he was charged by information with battery and resisting an officer without violence.
That's
So
correct, Your
there'd be
Honor.
no contact.
That's correct.
With the victim or any witnesses.
Yes.
And no return. I'm not sure where the offense is alleged to have occurred. And then no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition.
That's correct.
So I don't know. I mean, it's usually they just hand me a piece of paper and I sign it. I don't know how it's generated.
Comes from the clerk.
Well, it's gonna be a while because I don't.
Okay, well, we'll get it signed this morning at some point.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
I can't generate the paperwork myself, but,
Oh, right.
but we'll get it signed. And Mr. Cooperstein, you need to make sure that you comply with the mental health pretrial release requirements.
Yep.
Keep in touch with if you have a case manager,
Yeah,
okay?
yep.
Okay, no weapons or firearms or ammunition, no contact with any victims or witnesses, and, no return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Right. Thank you.
All right, thank
Thank you.
you.
No return to the scene, no contact with victim or witnesses.
And no weapons, firearms, or ammunition. And then. Okay. All right, tell me your name. Mr. Lamar? All right, so Mr. Lamar, you are here in 2020 MO 155AO. And this Public Defender's Office filed a motion for release on your own recognizance or in the alternative to continue the finding of incompetence and place the defendant on conditional release. And I've reviewed the motion. The public defender was previously appointed. They filed the motion. And while the evaluation by Dr. Danziger was from 2018, it's indicated in there that he's not restorable. It's a permanent incompetency. I'm not going to make a finding of incompetence based on the evaluation from 2018, 2 years ago. So I'm going to, Ms. Fusco, did you wish to be heard?
The city prosecutor has asked us to convey that he's willing to stipulate to the findings in the case.
Okay, well, he can't because it's an order, an evaluation from 2018. So I am going to release Mr. Lamar on his own recognizance. Mr. Lamar, you may not return back. I think is this a trespass or a soliciting? Disorderly? Okay. So basically, I think the allegations were soliciting, but they filed them under disorderly.
It was the middle of nowhere.
Okay, Mr. Lamar, All right, I'm gonna release your ROR, okay? Make sure you keep in touch with your attorneys. Show up to any court dates, okay?
Okay,
All right.
thanks.
I don't have an order here. Oh, there it is.
Come on, jump. Jump.
All right, good morning, sir. Tell me your name.
John Billheimer.
All right, Mr. Billheimer, you're here in 2020 MO 225. You were arrested for an open container violation, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Is there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court costs.
You want to do that, Mr. Billheimer? Credit for time served.
Time served?
Time served. Okay, I'll have you sign the plea form, please. All right, Mr. Billheimer, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Pardon me?
Is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form? I don't have a name on here or anything. Oh,
It's the first day of this new form, so
Right.
we was told to just sign it, clerk fill the top out.
oh. All right, and so did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
I didn't read the plea form.
Okay, I need you to read the plea form. It's a legal document, and you signed it.
Stand back on the wall right there. Okay.
We'll recall your case. All right, please tell me your name.
Harley Chandler.
All right, Mr. Chandler, you're here in 2020 MO 226. You're arrested for an open container violation and state misdemeanors. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Is there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court costs.
All right, Mr. Chandler, do you want to do that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have you sign it? All right, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
understand all those rights you're giving up by entering a plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I do find a factual basis based on the affidavit in the court file to accept your plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty on each count, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days time served. Those will run concurrent. And I do have to impose court costs. I'll order you pay those by February 11th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
Oh, my pens are done. All right, good morning. Tell me your name.
Levon Wheeler.
Mr. Wheeler. All right, Mr. Wheeler, you're here in 2020 MO 229. You were arrested for alcohol or an open container, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Was there an offer for Mr. Wheeler?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court costs.
Okay, do you want to do that?
Yes, ma'am, but I'm extremely indigent. Like, I have no anything.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a year to pay your court costs. If you can't pay your court costs, you're going to have to go to the clerk's office, and there's some things that you can do through the clerk's office. So,
Is there
but I'm going to give you a year to pay your court costs.
is there like community service I could do?
That's something that you'll have to communicate with the clerk's office.
All right.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right, did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, I am not.
All right, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea. Based on the affidavit in the court file, I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days time served. I'll order you pay your court costs by February 11th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
You ready, John? Or you ready? Finish. Yes or no?
I'm not quite finished.
Okay. Keith, go ahead.
All right, good morning, sir. Get yourself settled in there. All right, can you tell me your name?
Ken Yu Wa Muhammad.
All right, Mr. Muhammad, you're here in 2020 CF 1486AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was previously found, and that was for possession of MDMA. And I don't have a form for the public defender. Do you want me to appoint them to represent you? I don't want you to talk about the facts of the case. Did you fill out a form?
Yeah.
Is that a PD form right there?
I
Okay.
need to ask a question.
Oh, wait, you know what? It became detached, so I do have the affidavit. So I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you, sir, in that case. And so in that case, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and the bond will stay at $1,000. You're also here in 2020 CF 1878AO, and that's for possession of MDMA with intent to sell or deliver, and possession of drug paraphernalia. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender in that case as well. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. And the bond will stay at the $15,100. So if you can't make those bonds, Mr. Mohammed, the public defender's office will file some motions for you, okay? All right, Mr. Mohammed, you're gonna have to call the phone number that they give you on the form.
Number for you, right here.
All right, tell me your name, sir.
Christopher Rule.
All right, Mr. Rule, you're here in 2020 CF 1300AO. You're arrested pursuant to a capias in which probable cause was found. The state did file an information in the case charging you with petty theft, 2 prior convictions. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. No return back to the Publix at 2015 Edgewater Drive. No contact with any listed victims or witnesses in the case. And the bond will stay at the $1,500. You finished, Mr. Billheimer? You finished reading that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you read the plea form. This is 2020 MO 225. Mr. Billheimer, you're entering a plea, and that's to the open container violation. And so you read the plea form?
Yes,
Did you understand everything in the plea form?
pretty much.
Okay, what did you not understand?
I guess I'm guilty of the open container.
Okay, well, but part of the plea form talks about those rights that you're giving up when you enter a plea, and won't be a trial and all that stuff they listed out. Did you understand everything that you read? You said pretty much, so I'm just, if you have any
Yes.
questions, then I need to answer that for you.
I understood.
Okay. All right, are you on probation anywhere?
No,
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
I understand.
Okay. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served, and I'll order you pay your court costs by February 11th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck.
Wonderful.
Good morning. Tell me your name.
Robert Michael Imhoff.
All right, sir, you're here in 2020 CF 1858AO. You're arrested for grand theft, 3rd degree of a motor vehicle. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. No contact with any victims, witnesses, or co-defendants. The bond will stay at $1,000.
He has an open case.
Sorry?
He has an open case.
Oh, okay.
He has a what?
Open case.
Oh, I don't have a form for it. I'm not gonna take any action on the paraphernalia.
Yeah, I don't have.
So you have a court date coming up, right?
My lawyer's already taken care of that, I thought.
Okay, I would get in touch with your attorney. You have a court date coming up for February 21st.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the case number?
It's an Osceola case number 2019 CF 003926.
Am I done?
Please tell me your name.
Jeremiah Henry.
All right, Mr. Henry, you're here in 2020 CF 1295. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was previously found for aggravated fleeing and attempting to elude a law enforcement officer with injury or property damage, providing false ID to law enforcement, and driving while license suspended with 2 prior convictions. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. You cannot drive without a valid driver's license. No contact with any witnesses in the case. Your bond on count 1 will be $10,000. Count 2, 100. Count 3, 150. Oh, this was Mr. Cooperstein's stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I need it anymore. All right, tell me your name.
Brandy Benner.
All right, Ms. Benner. That looks like they reset you for 2020 CF 1722. Your bondsman came off the bond in the case. So I'm gonna reinstate the $1,000 bond, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Does she have the public defender in that case? No? I don't know, if probably bonded out.
Your Honor, she stated she's going to get a private attorney.
You're gonna get your own attorney? Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure if you did have an attorney, you knew who to talk to. And then you're also here in a Seminole County warrant case, and in Seminole County, the judge set your bond at $20,000 on each count. And so Seminole County, you'll have to bond, I believe you'll have to bond out of the Orange County case in order for Seminole to come and pick you up. So unless you're able to bond out on that on your own.
They're in the process of bonding me out on it.
Okay, and you have another Seminole County warrant too, and that's also a $20,000 bond. So when you bond out of, if you can't bond out of Seminole and you want to be transported there, you're going to have to bond out of the Orange County case, and then they'll transport you, okay, from that point forward. Okay? All right. All right, please tell me your name.
Darius Blair.
All right, Mr. Gesundheit. Mr. Blair, you're here in 2019 CF 14665AO. You failed to appear for a case management conference on February 4th, 2020, and the judge did revoke your release and set your bond at none. Does he have the public defender?
Yes.
Okay, you do have the public defender. They're going to have to file a motion to set bond for you in that division, okay?
Okay.
Tell me your name.
Javon Bonner.
All right, Mr. Bonner. You're here in 2018 CF 17689BO, and you were arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for pretrial conference on May 8th, 2019. The judge did revoke your release and set your bond at none. And I don't know if you had the public defender, but I have a form here, so I'll appoint them if you didn't already have them. And they'll have to file a motion to set bond for you in Division 14.
What if I was incarcerated when this happened?
Then they'll have to file a motion with that information in it. Huh?
You had a private counsel, Sandra Lee.
You have a private attorney?
No. Oh, I had one in ICO.
Well, let's see. If you have an attorney, I can't appoint the public defender, so let me see.
Not on this case.
All right, you do have a private attorney, Sandra Woodle.
In this
She
case?
did an order to withdraw though.
She did in order to withdraw, but no, that was an order allowing the criminal conflict counsel to withdraw, and she was appointed.
Oh, okay.
So she was appointed in November. So you're gonna have to get in touch with her. So
Ooh.
let me get you her phone number.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Because I think the PD had a conflict, and then conflict probably had a conflict. All right, I wrote her name and number and your case number, so that should be enough to get you in touch with her, okay?
All right, thank you.
Okay.
James Brown's behavior, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Brown can't conform his behavior to the courtroom. I'm gonna find that to be a waiver, and I'll appoint the public defender. Ms. Fowler, do you want to formally waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
So he's charged in 2020 CF 1883AO with resisting an officer without violence, possession of cocaine, and possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver. I do find probable cause. And no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no return back to the Home Depot at 4403 Millennia Boulevard. The bonds will, on count 1, I'll reduce to 100, count 2, 150, count 3 will stay at 15,000. All right, good morning, tell me your name.
Good morning, ma'am. Michael Burngood.
All right, sir, you're here in 2019 CF 10297AO. You're arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for an arraignment on February 5th, 2020. Judge did revoke your release and set your bond at none in that case. Does he have the PD in both his cases?
No attorney.
No attorney? Okay, I'll appoint the public defender. I have an affidavit here on both, and so that's also 2019 CF 9463AO, and that's a failure to appear as well. And that was for your arraignment on January 16th, 2020. And the judge did set your bond at none. So you got one in Division 19, one in Division 14, and the PD's office will have to file some motions to set bond for you in those cases, okay? And then, I don't have an out on bond form, but I see there's an open case, is that?
Open case 2019-004343 for Osceola.
Yeah, so I'm not taking any action on that.
Could you repeat that case number, please?
2019-004343.
CFML. Does it say?
No, it doesn't say, it's a,
Okay, one more time, I'm sorry. 19.
Let me see if I can find it.
Huh?
Let me see if I can
Oh.
find it. It's a CF, 2019 CF 004343.
4343?
Yes.
all right, tell me your name.
Andrew Lee Butler III.
Mr. Butler, you're here in 2019 CF 16817. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'll stay the bonds at $500 and $50. And PTR if you qualify, okay? I know you haven't been interviewed yet, so if you want to see if you qualify for pretrial release.
They won't be qualified for pretrial. I haven't even talked to them yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right, so I'm saying if you, I'll do bond or PTR if you qualify, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So, just make sure that, can we have him interviewed? Okay. Good morning, tell me your name.
Cody Fuller.
All right, Mr. Fuller, you're here in 2020 CF 1880AO, and you're arrested for possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, possession of drug paraphernalia, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no contact with any witnesses or co-defendants, and placing you in pretrial release. So make sure that you comply with their requirements as well as mine.
How does that, I've never had that before.
Okay, well, they'll explain it to you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good morning. Tell me your name, sir. Tell me your name.
Jeremy Garner.
All right, Mr. Garner, you're here in 2020 CF 1881AO, and you were arrested for possession of heroin, carrying concealed weapon, and possession of drug paraphernalia. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. No weapons, no firearms, no ammunition. Your bond will remain on count 1 at 1,000. Count 2, I'll reduce to 150. Count 3, 100.
Daughter, will the court consider PTR if his address and community ties are verified?
Yeah, if they can qualify him, then that's fine. I'll do or PTR if qualify, okay? All right, please tell me your name.
Trivion Gunner.
All right, Mr. Gunn, you're here in 2020 CF 1859AO. You're arrested for burglary of a structure while wearing a mask, grand theft second degree of $20,000 or more, and criminal mischief over 1,000. Do you find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. No return back. I think that's the Chevron 7090 Aloma Avenue. No contact with any victims, any witnesses, or any co-defendants. The bond will stay at $5,000, $150, and $150. Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Barbara Johnson.
All right, Ms. Johnson, you're here in 2020 CF 1873AO. You're arrested for possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia. And do you find probable cause? I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in your case. Ms. Johnson, do you work? No?
No,
No? Okay. And do you have a residence, or you, no?
I'm homeless, ma'am.
Okay. I'm gonna release you ROR. You need to make sure that you show up to all your court dates. What happens when you don't show up to court is they issue a warrant, and it's usually a no bond warrant. And you come here, and I can't change it, okay?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
make sure that you keep in touch with the public defender's office, and you show up to your court dates,
Yes, ma'am.
okay?
Thank you.
No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. Tell me your name.
Clark Joseph.
All right, Mr. Joseph, you're here in 2020 CF 937. You were arrested for pursuant to a capias, and a judge did find probable cause. The state did file an information charging you with sexual battery. That's an F2. And so probable cause was previously found by the judge. And so I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. No return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. No contact directly or indirectly with the victim. And no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. No weapons, no firearms, and no ammunition. And I'm gonna set your bond at $5,000, and you're required to do random urinalysis through pretrial release, so no drugs or alcohol, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning. Tell me your name.
Desiree Katuch.
All right, ma'am, you're here in 2020 CF 1857AO. You're arrested for possession of heroin, possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. All right. Ms. Katuch, I'm going to release your ROR. You need to make sure you show up to court, keep in touch with the public defender's office. No drugs or alcohol. I'm going to require random urinalysis through pretrial release. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, tell me your name.
Charlo.
All right, Mr. Lowe, you're here in 2020 CF 1485AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant, which probable cause was found for burglary of an unoccupied dwelling, grand theft of $100 or more from a dwelling, and criminal mischief. And I'll appoint the public, do I have a form? Yes, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. So in that case, you're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred at the 5916 Mile Cross Drive. No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. And I'll stay the bonds at $5,150, $150. And in 2020 CF 1484, it's a warrant and probable cause was found for burglary of an unoccupied dwelling, criminal mischief over $1,000, and grand theft of $100 or more from a dwelling. And I'll appoint the PD in that case as well. No contact with any listed victims or witnesses. No return back to the 5922 Malcross. And I'll stay the bonds at $5,150 and $150. Good morning. Tell me your name.
Emmanuel Nombre.
All right, Mr. Nombre. You're here in 2020 CF 1661. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for robbery with a firearm. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in that case. You're also here in 2020 MM 1061AO, and that's petty theft. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the PD in that case. In 2019 CF 10540AO, and that's a failure to appear for a trial management conference on November 21st, 2019. The judge did revoke your release, set your bond at none. Does he have the PD in that case?
Yes, conflict.
Okay, you have conflict counsel, so you'll need to get in touch with them as it relates to them filing a bond motion for you. So as to robbery with a firearm, does the state wish to be heard as to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the video surveillance camera captured the defendant and his co-defendant grab merchandise from the smoke shop and run out while the manager of the store had turned away. The manager then followed the defendants as they exited the store with the merchandise and were entering the cars to flee. The manager heard them fire a shot, and then he returned fire. The shots were fired while the defendants were still in the course of taking the items. The defendant was also positively identified by the manager of the smoke shop in a photo lineup. The state argues that there is proof evident or presumption great and asks that he be held with no bond.
Mrs. Fowler?
Your Honor, I would defer the matter to the court.
Okay. I don't find proof evident presumption great. All he said was, I heard a shot. There was no shell casings found that were compared to the victim's gun, which indicated that there was like a different firearm that shot anything. So I don't find proof evident presumption great. As to the robbery with a firearm, and So your bond on the robbery with a firearm is gonna be $50,000. No contact with any victims, witnesses, or co-defendants. No weapons, no firearms, no ammunition. No return back to the SoCal Smoke Shop at 3510 South Orange Avenue. And no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. And on the petty theft, I don't know if the state will have an offer.
No, Your Honor.
All right, so in that case, no return back to the Outlet Marketplace, 5263 International Drive, no contact with any listed victims or witnesses. And the bond will stay at 500. All right, please tell me your name.
Crystal Purcell.
All right, Ms. Purcell, you're here in 2015 CF 12764AO. You're arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for trial management on November 21st, 2019. The judge did revoke your release and set your bond at none. And does she have the PD or an attorney? Okay, you have a private attorney?
No, this case is old. I did my time for this.
So they filed an information back in 2015. Looks like at that point, a notice of appearance was filed. By Mr. Michael Morris. And then there was a motion to revoke bond. A lot going on in the case. And there was another notice of appearance. And then it looks like there was an order appointing the public defender in 2016. And there was a plea form, so. And a motion to withdraw the plea. A lot going on in this case. And then the PD withdrew. And there was a sentence. And an appeal. And then an order dismissing the appeal. PD was appointed in July of 2019. And it was reversed, it was placed back on the docket. So I don't know if you know exactly what happened, but it looks like the case was appealed, okay? And the Fifth District Court of Appeal said that you were allowed to withdraw the plea, okay? And so when you're allowed to withdraw the plea, the case goes back on the docket, all right? So the case went back on the docket after the court allowed you to withdraw your plea. And then, looks like in August, Gregory Williams with conflict counsel filed a notice of appearance. Is that who they have listed? Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna write his name down and the numbers that you can reach him at and your case number, okay? So, you do have an attorney in the case, it's Mr. Williams. And so he's gonna have to file a motion, looks like in Division 12. Okay?
Yes.
All right, please tell me your name.
Chance, you ready?
All right, Mr. Redding, you're here in 2020 CF 1895. You're arrested for, they put possession of a synthetic, but it should be methamphetamine. I think he put, it's one off from, they put -144, it's -14. I think maybe he put in the wrong code. And trespass in a conveyance. And so there's probable cause for possession of methamphetamine, which is 893.136A-14. And so I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no contact with any victims, witnesses, or co-defendants. And the bond will stay at 1,000 and 100, and I'm not gonna take any action on your out on release cases. You do have you have a court date coming up.
Yes, ma'am.
What day is that?
I have no idea. They just told me.
Okay, it looks like the 19th, so see, make sure if you need to be there, you need to be there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, don't miss any court, okay? I did. It's just, it's the same thing,
Okay, so
dash
I was trying to see
14,
what-
not 144.
Yes, ma'am. So,
All right, tell me your name.
Kevin Rivera.
All right, Mr. Rivera, you're here in 2020 CF 1882AO. You're arrested for unauthorized possession of an identification card and petty theft. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. No return back to the target at 3343 Daniels Road. No contact with victims or witnesses, and abide by the trespass warning. And I do note you have an open juvenile case pending, and this is probably your first adult case, so
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna release you ROR.
Does that mean okay.
You're gonna get released without posting a bond. You're gonna have to make sure you do not miss any court, you don't get rearrested for anything. You comply with my orders, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, tell me your name, ma'am.
Jacqueline Troutwine.
All right, Ms. Troutwine, you're here in 2020 CF 1389AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was previously found, and the state did file an information. charging you with scheme to defraud over $50,000. And are you planning on hiring your own attorney?
I already have.
Oh, okay. Who did you hire?
Mitchell Ladner. He's out of Polk County, where I live, and he was trying to schedule a hearing for tomorrow.
Okay, so, doesn't look like anything's, he filed a motion, but he hasn't filed a notice of appearance, so you may want to get in touch with him. It looks like he did file a motion in the division. So make sure that he is going to be representing you on your case, because without a notice of appearance, he's not reflected as the attorney of record, okay? My guess is that he'll try and get a bond hearing for you in Division 22 with the judge in there. But the bond will stay at the $98,000. No contact with any victims or witnesses, no return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Tell me your name.
My name is David Vasquez.
All right, sir, you're here in 2020 CF 1874. You were arrested for possession of fentanyl, resisting an officer without violence, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Do you find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I am gonna stay the bond at 1,000, 100, and 100. Tell me your name.
Maurice Rondell White.
All right, sir, you're here in 2020 CF 1862 AO. You're arrested for burglary of a structure, grand theft third degree, and possession of burglary tools. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. No return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. That's the Walmart at 10500 West Colonial Drive in Ocoee.
Yes, ma'am.
No contact with any victims, witnesses, or co-defendants. And the bonds will stay at 7,300 and 300. Tell me your name.
Vivani Manzingo.
All right, ma'am, you're here in 2020 MO 227. You were arrested for an open container violation, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Is there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court cost.
You want to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is that your? Oh, you're not taking. All right, Ms. Monsingo, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right, did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes.
All right, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days, and I'll order you pay your court costs by February 11th, 2021. If you'd
I
like
can
to
do
appeal
that.
the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, ma'am. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Tell me your name.
Warren Sanders.
All right, Mr. Sanders, you're here in 2020 MO 228. You're arrested for disorderly conduct, and I do find probable cause. I don't have a form for the public defender. Is there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court cost.
All right, Mr. Sanders, it's credit for time served. Do you want to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll have you sign the plea form. right, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering a plea? Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served. I do have to impose court costs. I'll order you pay those by February 11th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, tell me your name.
Janine Coakley.
All right, Ms. Coakley, you're here in 2020 MM 1062AO. You're arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Is there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court costs.
Do you want to do that?
What?
It's a credit for time served offer, Ms. Coakley.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have you sign the plea form. All right, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand everything contained within the plea form?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, is there any, what didn't you understand?
I think I got it.
Okay, did you read it?
No, I didn't know it was given to me.
Okay. Well, they give it to you for a reason, so that you can review it,
Oh, it's
okay?
this-
So I need you to step back there and review the plea form for me.
Okay.
All right, sir, tell me your name.
Richard Roy Fuller.
All right, Mr. Fuller, you're here in 2020 MM 1052AO. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning. Do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Is there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court costs.
All right, Mr. Fuller, and you can't go back to the 101 East Central Boulevard, the downtown public library, okay?
For how long?
Well, however long the trespass warning's for,
Okay,
okay?
yes.
All right, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes.
All right, did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Mostly yes.
What did you not understand?
No, I don't understand.
Did you read the plea form?
Yes.
Okay, and so you have no questions about the plea form?
No.
Okay. Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
All right, do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
All right, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served. You can't go back to the downtown public library at 101 East Central Boulevard. Abide by the trespass. I'll order you pay your court costs by February 11th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. Good luck. All right, good morning. Tell me your name.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Gregory Allen Heiss.
All right, Mr. Heiss, you're here in 2020 MM 1059. You're arrested for trespass, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Is there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court costs, no return to the scene of the trespass.
All right, do you want to do that, Mr. Heiss?
That'll be fine, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
All right, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am. I'll
Okay,
correct you.
you understand. All right, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served. Can't go back to the 449 West Main Street, the Wawa, abide by the trespass warning. And I'll order you pay your court costs by February 11th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck.
Yes, ma'am. Does that time served, I go home today?
You do.
Thank you.
All right, good morning, tell me, oh, sorry, we're back. All right, and, all right, Ms. Coakley, you're, entering a plea, I don't have your case number. So we're recalling 2020 MM 1062AO, and I gave you an opportunity to review the plea form. Did you read it?
Yes.
Did you understand everything in it?
Yes.
Do you understand all those rights you're giving up by entering a plea?
Yes.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
All right, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served. I'll order you pay your court costs by February 11th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good morning. Tell me your name.
Jessica Ray Marchessault.
All right, ma'am, you're here in 2020 MM 1060. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning. Do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Is there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court costs, no return to the scene of the trespass.
All right, do you want to do that, Ms. Marchessault?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I'm not going to take any action on your out on release case. I don't know if you have a court date coming up or anything, but make sure you keep in touch with your attorneys and don't miss court, okay?
Thank you.
Is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes.
Do you understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
No. Yes, I understand. No problem, no deportation.
All right. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served. Don't go back to the Wawa at 8574 South Orange Blossom Trail. Abide by the trespass. And I'll order you pay your court costs by February 11th, 2021.
Yes,
If you'd
ma'am.
like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Jonathan Montenegro.
All right, sir, you're here in 2020 MM 1046AO. You're arrested for trespass. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Is there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court costs, no return to the scene of the trespass.
You want to do that? Okay. Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. I'll have you sign the plea form. All right. Is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
Not that I know.
Okay. Do you report to a probation officer or anything like that? Okay. And do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
All right. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served, and no return back to the Walmart at 3838 South Cimarron Boulevard. Abide by the trespass. I'll order you pay your court costs by February 11th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck. Good morning. Tell me your name.
Rhonda Vaught.
Okay, do we know Tyrone Thompson? Okay. All right, Ms. Vaught, you're here in 2020 MM 75AA, and you were arrested for petty theft. And I do find probable cause for that offense, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. I don't know if the state will have an offer.
No offer on this one, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Ms. Vaught, you're not to return back to the Beals at 2302 East Cimarron Boulevard. No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. And the bond will be $500. You're out on release for petty theft with a prior theft conviction. And I am going to revoke that in 2019 MM 796AA. You do have the public defender, I believe, in the case. Yes. And so they'll have to file some motions to set bond for you. All right, good morning. Tell me your name.
Michelangelo Sapio.
All right, Mr. Sapio, you're here in a Broward County warrant. And looks like the judge in Broward set your bond at $3,500 and $1,000. And there's another Broward warrant too. And the bonds are set at none in that case. There's just two, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so, Broward County will have 72 hours pursuant to our administrative order to come and pick you up. If they don't do that within the time frame, and that does not include weekends or holidays, then you'll come back before a judge here if they don't pick you up. I'm not taking any action on the out on release case here. I have no idea what happened, but you have a pretrial conference coming up. So if you are in another county, you need to let your attorneys know, okay? All right?
Ma'am.
All right, tell me your name.
Hannah Austin.
All right, so Ms. Austin, this is 2020 CF 1811AO, and yesterday I did not find probable cause for the accessory after the fact to life or first-degree felony, and the state requested 24 hours. I've received a second affidavit for 2020 CF 1896, which appears as though the officer, instead of submitting a supplemental affidavit, he filed a whole new case.
They sent me supplemental reports, Your Honor.
Okay, well, it appears as though he filed a whole new affidavit, the same facts, charging her with accessory after the fact to a third-degree felony, which is exactly what it would have been. So I don't know what information that you have.
That's essentially it.
Is that what?
Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
So what I'm going to do is, I did appoint the PD on the other case. I reduced the bond to $1,000. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to change that to ROR, okay? I'm going to IA you on the new case, so it's a lot cleaner, okay? And so the same conditions, I do find probable cause for the accessory after the fact to third-degree felony. And so, no contact directly or indirectly with any victim, any witnesses or co-defendants, no return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. And then I am gonna, do you live locally?
No, ma'am.
You live in Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I am gonna set the bond at 1,000. They did, because you're out of state, they set it at 2,000, but I'm gonna set it at 1,000. And the PD, I'm gonna appoint them to represent you too in that case. So you need to make sure you show up to court, okay? Don't miss court. Ms. Fowler, you may wanna put a note in there that the 1811 is the same case.
Right.
So that everybody's on the same page there. Okay?
Okay.
right, tell me your name.
Lonnie Michael Lamb Jr.
All right, do we know what happened to David Hare? Okay, so yesterday, well, I'm going to find his refusal to be a waiver. I did appoint the PD yesterday, revoked his bonds, found PC for everything other than count 7 and 8, and gave the state 24 hours to provide me with additional probable cause supporting documentation.
Yes, Your Honor. Just 1 second, Your Honor. May I approach Your Honor?
Sure, and do you have a copy for Ms. Fowler, too?
I do.
Okay. Thanks.
There are supplemental reports that now contain the theft information in counts 7 and 8.
All right, I reviewed the affidavit, and I do find that there is sufficient probable cause for counts 7 and 8. And so those bonds will be reduced to 150 as well as a subsequent offense from the other count. Sure, well, it's all written out there. So no contact with any, well, I think I said that already, but no contact with any victims or witnesses in the case, and no return back to where that offense is alleged to have occurred. Okay? I'm just gonna treat them as subsidiaries. Let's count.
7 and 8, number 150.
Yeah. All right. Oh, and you're not Mr. Hare. I'm sorry. Are you Mr. Lamb?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Lamb, you're here in 2020 CF 1809AO. And this was another one of the co-defendants that was charged with accessory after the fact to a life or first-degree felony. Again, the officer filed another affidavit, but not the same charge as before. So, and he's added 2020 CF 1871AO for fraudulent use of credit cards over $100. So I don't know. And I'll appoint the PD in that case. Ms. Fusco, did they submit any additional supplemental discovery?
Your Honor.
Sure.
It's the same, they send me the same materials in each case.
And state, do you have a copy?
It's the same one I gave you.
It's the same one?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, so based on this, I do find probable cause for the accessory after the fact to a third-degree felony, which is 777.03 subsection 1-5. And then I also find probable cause for the fraudulent use of credit cards, that's the 1871. So it's the same conditions of release, no contact with any victims, witnesses, or co-defendants, no return back to the scene. I'm gonna stay the bond at the $1,000 as what I set yesterday. for the accessory after the fact to the third-degree felony. And then as it relates to the fraudulent use of credit cards, same conditions of release, no return to the scene, no contact with victims, witnesses, or co-defendants, and I'm gonna set that at 1,000 as well. So this is the supplemental for the reset, and then there's a new law back here. Yeah, it's 777031-5.
77.03-1.
Subsection 1-5, accessory after the fact to third-degree felony. Okay. And I think yesterday she was removed from the courtroom. So I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent her in 2020 MM 1000. And Ms. Fowler, do you want to waive? I don't think that
Yes,
we're
Your
gonna
Honor.
get a plea out of her. She's charged with trespass on property after warning and resisting an officer without violence. I do find probable cause. And I did appoint the PD. No return back to the McDonald's at 6875 West Sand Lake Road. No contact with any victims or witnesses. And abide by the trespass. I'll do bond, and can they screen her for mental health pretrial release?
I don't know if she would qualify. I can tell based on her housing and last time she was homeless, you still haven't heard.
Huh?
I don't think she would qualify. I can tell based on her housing and last time she said that she was homeless. You still want her screened?
I mean, I would like her to be screened if possible for mental health pretrial release.
For mental health?
Yeah.
That would be done by mental health.
Yeah, mental health pretrial release. Okay. So it'll be bond or mental health pretrial release if qualifying. And a bond will stay at the 500 and 100 for mental health pretrial release. All right, tell me your name.
Daquan Smith.
All right, Mr. Smith, this is a reset from yesterday. I did not find probable cause in 2020 CF 1804AO because there was nothing in the affidavit that indicated that Mr. Smith was a convicted felon. Sure.
This is the supplemental report on the first page that has they did do a search and determined that he was a convicted felon. The draw from the second page in.
All right, based on the additional information and it's sworn, I do find probable cause for counts 1 through 17. Why do they have, this is all wrong. This is all wrong. It's not delinquent acts, these are just possession of convicted felons. So these are all incorrect. Okay. So, all right, so I'm gonna stay the bond at 4,000 and 150 on all subsequent accounts. No weapons, no firearms, and no ammunition. I am gonna revoke the release in 2020 CF 1517AO, and you do have the public defender in that case. They're gonna have to file any motions to set bond for you in that case. I don't know why they're wrong, but they're wrong. But it's, yeah, do you want that? That's all the charges. Okay. Okay.
Your Honor, would the court consider a bond reduction for the possession of firearm?
No, I'm gonna keep it at the 4,000. All right. All right, come on forward, please. Tell me your name.
Montavious Oliver.
Oliver Montavious?
Montavious Oliver. They had got it wrong.
Okay. All right, sir, you're here in 2020 MM 313AO, and the Public Defender's Office filed a motion for release on your own recognizance or in the alternative to reduce your bond. Currently, your bond is 100 on count 1, 500 on count 2. All right, have you all discussed anything?
No, Your Honor, we haven't discussed it.
Okay. Does the state have an objection?
Is he going to be sworn in as to his efforts to obtain bond?
Would you like me to take testimony? I'm asking if you have an objection to the motion. That's the only question that I've asked.
Okay, Your Honor, if we could have testimony, Your Honor.
Okay, so you're objecting to the motion being granted without testimony? Okay. Sir, can you raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Fowler?
Please state your name for the record.
Montavious Oliver.
What efforts have you made to bond out?
I called my mom, but she said she gonna get the money, like, when I first came in here, but she never did.
And are you currently employed?
No.
Do you have any money in a savings or checking account?
No, ma'am.
Are you going to maintain contact with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, that concludes my testimony.
All right, Ms. Fusco, any questions?
So have you contacted a bondsman?
Yes.
And what was the result of that phone call?
He told me.
I'm sorry, I can't hear anything that you're saying, Ms. Fusco.
Have you contacted a bondsman?
Yes, ma'am.
What were the results of that conversation?
He told me the bond is 200, and he said he gonna contact my mom. He contacted her. Yeah.
Okay. And you have no bank accounts of your own?
No.
Your Honor, his history is 3 misdemeanors, but no FTAs. The current charge is petty theft, resisting without violence, so we would defer to the court's discretion.
All right, Mr. Oliver?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm gonna grant you your ROR, I'm gonna grant you ROR. You need to make sure you're gonna be living at that 5303 Logan Heights Circle? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
No, you can't go back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred, at the Burlington Coat Factory, okay? No contact with any victims or witnesses. Keep in touch with your attorney, and do not miss any court dates. If you miss a court date, chances are you're gonna get a no bond warrant, and then you're just gonna sit in jail again, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I need my public defender number though, my attorney number.
Huh?
I need my attorney number.
Okay.
Do you know who
All right, do we have Any of the other people coming?
Mr. Wakama, he's mental health.
Okay, do you want me to reset, or do you want to or do you just want to reset it when he's
I think it'll be
available?
before he's ready.
Huh?
I think it'll be a few days.
Okay, so I'll just have you all reset it. I'll take no action on 2020 MM 763AO. And then we dealt with Mr. Lamar, and then, okay. All right, and then I have a 33-day motion for Willie Joseph Carr Jr. by Diana Mears.
Yes, Your Honor. On February 10th, a no information notice was filed.
All right, that will be granted. Okay, everybody ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. 2020 MM 151AO Eads Brian.
Yes, Your Honor. On February 10th, a no information notice was filed.
Okay, that will be granted. 2020 CF 373 Voorhees Griffin.
Yes, Your Honor. On February 10th, an information was filed, filing ID 103044029.
All right, that will be denied. 2020 CF 381AO David Lamar Enfinger.
Yes, Your Honor. On February 10th, there was a notice of non-filing.
That's granted. 2020 CF 275AO Clarence George Bateman.
Yes, Your Honor. On February 10th, there was a notice of non-filing.
Will be granted. 2020 CF 154AO Landy Nobares.
Yes, Your Honor. On February 7th, there was a notice of non-filing.
That will be granted. 2020 CF 367AO Gwynson Clerger.
Yes, Your Honor. On February 10th, an information was filed, filing ID 103069133.
That will be denied. 2020 CF 354AO Craig Leonard Huey Jr.
Yes, Your Honor. On February 10th, there was a notice of non-filing.
All right, well, it's untimely. The state has not objected, and they filed a notice of non-filing, so that will be granted. 2020 CF 330AO Theodric Dorian Camps.
Yes, Your Honor. On February 10th, there was a notice of non-filing.
I think that will be granted. 2020 CF 140AO Peyton Lee Baker.
Yes, Your Honor. On February 10th, there was a notice of non-filing.
That will be granted. 2020 CF 416AO Louis Angel Negro Notero.
Yes, Your Honor. On February 10th, there was a notice of non-filing.
All right, although it's untimely filed, the state's filed a notice of non-filing and it's not objected to the untimely filing, so I'll grant that. 2020 MM 239AO Gregory Carson.
Yes, Your Honor. On February 10th, an information was filed, filing ID 103053082.
All right, that will be denied. All right, anything else? All right. Oh. Oh. Can I cross that out? This, I don't know what this stuff is.
Oh, no, that's the citation number.
Oh.
Yeah, they get carried over there.
Oh, okay.
Over there, but.
Alright, I don't know, what are we looking at this afternoon?
We're down to 9.
Oh, okay. Do you guys want to do a move up? Yes. Okay. I don't know what kind of cases they are, and so is 20 minutes okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I have a meeting, so I need to get it done quickly.
Okay.
Okay? All right. So I don't, do we know, can you tell me what I need to look at or not look at?
There's only one bond, that would be Luckett,
Okay, Luckett bonded.
and Mr. Royal is downtown court.
And I do find probable cause for those offenses. I think count 2 is actually less than 20 grams, sorry. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, and no driving without a valid driver's license. And the bond will stay at 50,000 on count 1, 100, 100, and 150. All right, tell me your name, sir. All right, Mr. Eaton, you're here in 2020 CF 1886AO, and that's tampering with physical evidence, attempted destruction of evidence, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in that case. And so no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Count 1 will stay at 1,000, count 2, I'm gonna ROR on that. Count 3, I'll ROR. Count 4, 100. And then they did file a non-view violation of probation in 19 CF 3999 based on the new law offense. So there's probable cause for that. I'll appoint the public defender, and you'll be held at no bond. You'll see Judge Whitehead in a couple days for your arraignment, and the public defender's office in the meantime can file any appropriate motions to set bond for you. Okay? All right, tell me your name.
Michael Lee Royal.
All right. Do we know what happened to Johnson?
She's on the way up.
Okay. And then Luckett bonded, and then, what's your name?
Michael Lee Royal.
Leroy.
Royal.
Oh, Royal, okay, all right. All right, sir, you're here in 2020 CF 1889AO. You were arrested for driving while license suspended with 2 prior convictions. And I do find probable cause, and I don't have a form for the I have a form for the public defender, and I'll appoint them to represent you in that case. In that case, no driving without a valid driver's license. 2020 MM 1065AO, you're charged with resisting an officer without violence, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the PD. And you weren't interviewed for pretrial release. I'll do bond or pretrial release if you qualify, okay? So give them whatever information that they need. So I'll stay the bond or pretrial release at 2,500, and then 500 or pretrial release if you qualify, okay?
Mr. Strunk, you're on.
Okay. All right, tell me your name.
Gerald Destrap.
Okay. You're here in 2020 CF 1887AO, and you're arrested for fleeing and attempting to elude a law enforcement officer with lights and sirens activated. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in your case. And your bond is set at 7,500. All right, please tell me your name.
John Arthur Sarabian III.
All right, right, sir, you're here in 2020 CF 1894AO. You're arrested for possession of alprazolam and a possession of a controlled substance in an unapproved container. I do find probable cause, and you're not gonna qualify for the public defender based on your income, okay? So I can't appoint them to represent you. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm gonna put you on pretrial release, okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Huh?
The bond is actually pending, so you want.
Oh, okay. Well, if the bond appears to be pending, I'll do or PTR if you don't
We'll just do
wanna post the
PTR then, I
bond.
guess, and I'll just go to the bondsman and tell him
Okay.
that, yeah.
All right.
That's
so
fine.
However you wanna do it, but I'll do bond or PTR, okay?
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, good luck.
Yeah, Ms. Johnson here, Your Honor.
All right, tell me your name.
Johnson, Kristen Johnson.
Okay, Ms. Johnson, you're here in 2020 CF 1893AO. You're arrested for possession of alprazolam, possession of cocaine, possession of a controlled substance in an unapproved container, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in your case. And then 20 CT 01035, it's an expired driver's license over 6 months, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the PD in that case. So no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and you can't drive without a valid driver's license. And I'll stay the bonds or pretrial release if you qualify, because you haven't been interviewed yet, okay? So it'll be 1,000, 150, 100, 100, huh?
She has been interviewed, it's probably in the packet that,
Oh, okay, well, none of the, yeah, so, she does qualify?
she does not.
She does not?
Yes, she was interviewed.
Okay, well, the bonds will stay. And then the bond on the traffic is set at, 500. Can't drive without a valid driver's license.
Can I ask a question? How much is my bond? Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, tell me your name.
Cesar Thompson Coombs.
All right, Mr. Thompson Coombs, you're here in 2020 CF 1891AO. You're arrested for carrying concealed firearm, possession of alprazolam, possession of oxycodone, possession of cannabis less than 20, and possession of prescription drug without a prescription. And I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the PD. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and no drugs or no weapons or firearms or ammunition. I'm going to place you on pretrial release with random urinalysis, so make sure that you don't test positive, okay? All right, tell me your name.
Right, Stevan Totten.
All right, sir. You're here in 2020 CF 1884AO. You're arrested for burglary of an unoccupied conveyance and possession of burglary tools. And so I think we all agree, state, public defender, and myself, that it should be an attempted. So I'm gonna find PC for attempted burglary of a conveyance, which is 890 or 810.02 subsection 1 subsection B subsection 2-18. And probable cause for count 2. And I'm appointing the public defender if I didn't say that already. So no return back to the 921 Little Avenue, no contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. I'm gonna place you on pretrial release.
Yes,
So you need to make sure that you comply with all of their requirements and mine too, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, tell me your name.
Mayor White.
All right, Mr. White, you're here in 2020 CF 1890. You're arrested for possession of cocaine, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. Do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. And the bond will stay at 1,000 on count 1, all ROR on count 2, and I'm not taking any action on your out on release case, so make sure you don't miss any court dates, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Does he have the PD in that case? If not, I'll appoint them to represent you, okay?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
I didn't see an attorney. Okay, I'll appoint the PD in that other case for you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, tell me your name.
John French.
All right, Mr. French, you're here for 2020 MM 1066. You're arrested for loitering or prowling, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Does the state have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, 5 days with credit time served, court cost.
Is it 2 or 1? Okay, so it's 5 days with credit for 1 day. No return back to that location. Mr. French, do you want to accept that offer?
No.
No? Okay. All right, so you're not to return back to the Coconut Palms apartment complex at 4684 Middlebrook Road. No contact with any listed victims or witnesses in the case, and the bond will stay at $500. All right, tell me your name.
Keon Green.
All right, Mr. Green, you're here for 2020 MM 1064AO. It's trespass in a dwelling after warning.
Yes.
Do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the PD to represent you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if the state will have an offer. Maybe they do.
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, 2 days with credit time served, court cost, no return to the scene of the trespass.
All right, Mr. Green, you can't go back there. You've been trespassed from there. Do you want to accept the state's offer?
Yes, from 4393 Council Court. Am I correct?
4393 Council Court. You can't go back there. If you go back, you're probably just going to end up being back here.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay. We'll have you sign the plea form.
Thank you.
All right. Is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, I do.
Do you understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So you read everything? You understand? Okay. Are
Yes,
you on
ma'am.
probation anywhere?
No.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days, is it 1 day? 1 day with credit for 1 day time served.
Thank you.
And, no return back to that address,
Okay.
okay? And so if you go back, you're probably gonna get arrested. Abide by the trespass warning. I'll order you
I
to
am.
pay your court costs by February 11th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you.
Okay, I'll pay that when I get out.
It gave you a year.
Okay. I'll pay it as soon as I get out.
All right, you can pay it whenever, as long as it's before the year.
Okay. Thank you.
And Mr. Harrison,
Mr. Harrison's behavior, Your Honor.
what was yesterday? Mental health? All right, so, I mean, we're not gonna get a plea. So, all right, I'm gonna find behavior to be a waiver. I'll appoint the public defender in 2020 CF 1824AO and 2020 CF 1839AO. And Ms. Fowler, do you wanna formally waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so, charged by, affidavit with possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, possession of cannabis more than 20 grams, trafficking in methamphetamine over 14, possession of meth or MDMA with intent to sell or deliver, and there was a bond correction sheet for that, it's $15,000, and resisting an officer without violence. And so no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no weapons or firearms or ammunition. Count 1 will be 150, count 2 will be 150, count 3 will stay at the 50,000, count 4, it's set at 15,000, I'm gonna reduce that to 2,500. And then resisting without 100. And then in 2020 CF 1839, he was arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for sale and delivery of cocaine. And the bond will stay at 2,500, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. He's out on release in 3 cases. 2019 CF 15456, 2019 CF 15457, and 2019 CF 168470. So I am gonna revoke the releases in those cases. Does he have the PD and everything? Okay. Okay, well, if not, I'll appoint them in those cases, okay? It was a reset, so they're in here. Yeah. All right, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we will be in recess until tomorrow.